As president of Dixie Warehouse and Cartage Company and Dixie Properties, Bob Rounsavall is at the helm of Louisville's largest indigenous industrial real estate development company. But it hasn't always been the giant business it is today. Bob joined the company founded by his father in 1968, but long before that, he'd already begun building the foundation for his future success.
Growing up in the family that my brother and I did, we were encouraged to work there in high school and in college, so I had probably worked, by the time I came back here to work full-time, I had probably worked 5 summers there, doing everything from unloading boxcars to checking freight coming off trucks and so forth. And that proved to be invaluable later on because to have had contact with all phases of the business is I think, a very important thing when you begin to get into leadership positions. If you haven't had that experience, I think you would be at a little bit of a disadvantage.
It wasn't just learning the ropes that got Bob started off on the right foot. The values of the company were just as important as the services they offered, something he and his brother learned directly from their father.
We learned that there was a culture, and we did everything we could to try to make sure that that culture was continued, and that was being fair, honest with our customers, and fair and honest with our employees.
Beginning around 1970, Dixie embarked on a 30-year period of sustained growth and diversification that included branching out into industrial park development. And the first big step in that direction was the creation of Louisville Air Park, located at what was then called Standiford Field.
We actually grew through the 1970s to about a little shy of 900,000 square feet of warehouse buildings. The great irony was we advertised them as a trimodal distribution facility where you had the opportunity to ship goods by truck, by rail, and by air. And we did have customers or tenants that shipped by truck and shipped by rail, but we had none that shipped by air until UPS came along and said, we think we like Louisville, we'd like to come to Louisville, and we kind of like your buildings. And one thing led to another, and they bought Louisville Air Park.
Additional expansion of the warehousing business took place when Dixie's already satisfied customers began clamoring for new distribution facilities in other cities around the country.
They were saying, we like what you're doing in Louisville, would you mind doing it in Raleigh, North Carolina, or Schaumburg, Illinois, or Beaumont, Texas? So it really was just responding to current things. It was not as though we had great intricate strategic planning sessions and said this is what we need to be doing. We just said this is something a little different and maybe we can make some money at it and let's try it.
That was a prime example of Bob's ability to recognize a significant opportunity when it presented itself, and it was a scenario that played out many times throughout his career.
He had and has a very keen eye for business development. I saw a few opportunities. He saw way more. He had a very, very good analytical mind and could see where it made sense for us to get involved.
A big part of Bob's success was dependent upon the relationships he formed, and whether dealing with employees, customers, or business partners, he's always been held in the highest regard.
I always knew that I could count on Bob. He would be there when I needed him, and he's just the kind of guy that instilled a feeling in people that he worked with and that worked for him that caused you to want to perform at a high level and be successful.
But Bob Rounsavall isn't just a successful businessman. He's also been extremely generous with his time and treasure, serving on a wide and varied list of civic and charitable boards. And perhaps no organization has benefited more from his contributions than the University of Louisville.
Bob knows and is liked by everybody in this region. And so when we decided to have a fundraising campaign, Bob agreed to head that up. And we were able to raise $60 million in a very short period of time, largely because he was able to get us in doors that we wouldn't have otherwise been able to get in. he's one of the people who is able to look ahead and have a picture of where we can be more than where we are right now. And that's been invaluable to us at the Cancer Center and at University Hospital.
If you're going to have a great city, you're going to have a great university at the center of it. And I think the University of Louisville fulfills that role in so many different ways, and the economic impact, the outreach that it presents to the community, and there are many dimensions of how it affects all facets of life, just beyond giving people an opportunity to get a degree there. It's a fundamental part of this community.
Like all truly successful individuals, Bob Rounsavall is anything but one-dimensional. His business success, coupled with his unceasing public service, has made him one of Louisville's most valued individuals. Along with his brother, he took a business started by his father and turned it into one of the community's great success stories. And the example he's set is a perfect blueprint for the business leaders of tomorrow to follow.